Welcome back to our final edition of this basketball season of Inside Richmond Basketball with head coach Rick Wedlow. Red Devils lost a tough one this past weekend against Connorsville, who, by the way, eventually went on to win the sectional championship and will play in the regional this coming Saturday. And joining us once again, head coach Rick Wedlow. And Coach, I know that just from a standpoint that it was a disappointing ball game for you guys, and you and I were talking a little bit before we got started that maybe kind of the elements, your team, a lot of these guys had not been through this before.
Yeah.
Huge crowd, the lights and everything probably just kind of put you behind the eight ball from the beginning.
Well, it was a fantastic atmosphere. It was a great atmosphere for Indiana high school basketball. I'd say it was over 6,000 people at that game, maybe 6,500 or so, which is above average for any high school basketball game. So it was an amazing crowd. Of course, Connorsville, they everybody from their town was there.
Yeah.
And we had a good crowd as well. I mean, we had some good support from our community, and I'm very, very grateful and thankful for that. But it seemed that the moment was maybe a tad bit too big for our kids. I know Christian had played in that sectional game last year. Trey played a little bit, AJ played a little bit, but the other guys had never been on that stage. I don't know if last year helped that we had played at Newcastle in the regular season, so we were familiar with the surroundings, but a greater portion of that game was, I was just trying to calm our kids down.
Right.
When you look your kids in the eye and you don't see, you can tell the kids aren't settled, and they're not playing, they don't have confidence, and I don't know if rattled is the word, but maybe it is. We were rattled, and it's unfortunate because I thought we had a really good week of preparation. We were prepared for Bo Isaacs to play. He didn't play. And then Grant Smith played like Indiana All-Star. I mean, he was amazing. I take my hat off to Kerry Brown and his staff. They're a veteran group, and they played. And they obviously the best team won. They beat us that night, came back and beat a really good Newcastle team, and they deserve to be in a regional championship. But I thought we'd be able to put up a good fight, and fortunately, we didn't. I mean, that's if you've watched Richmond basketball this year, that's nothing close to what we've played like this year. Even though of our record, we've still played good basketball, in my opinion. We didn't win a lot of them, but we played good ball, and it was kind of out of character for who we are. So disappointing for our seniors. I love Trey Griffin, AJ Ferguson, Jacoby Simpson, Daniel Hill. The latter two, they hadn't played a lot of varsity experience.
Yeah.
Trey, Trey laid out on the line for us. Great kid, great family. Disappointed for him. AJ, great kid, plays hard. Sometimes he gets in his way. He got that quick foul, and typically, like it's been all year, when he picks up that second foul, we have to go to the bench. It just changes, and so that affected us a bit. But Connorsville's a good team.
Yeah.
I feel like they have as good a chance as any of those guys to go up and win that regional at Southport. Even their style, they can beat a Brownsburg, and they can also be a North Central, just because of the difference of play, and they're tough kids. So be interested to see how that goes. And I'm a basketball fan. I love the game. And I've thought about going up to see my old alma mater, Gary Roosevelt, and I think they play in North Judson or something, St. Pierre, Indiana, somewhere.
Yeah, wherever that is.
Roosevelt's now a 2A team, and so it'd be nice to be around some familiar faces and go support the Panthers.
Coach, your second season, I'm curious now as if you could characterize this year after your first year, and I wrote an article, and I still believe this, that I think you kind of sacrificed your first year. And some may not agree with it, that's fine. But I thought you showed some loyalty to those seniors where a lot of coaches would have said, you know what, we're going to go a different direction and go young, but you decided not to because of your loyalty to them. I thought it put you behind a year. You come into this year and you have very little varsity experience. And now, to me, it almost seemed like you had to kind of start over again a little bit. But as you look at this year, how do you characterize this kind of year that it's been for you and this team?
Well, it's growth. I think it was growth. I thought it was the second step of the process. If you look at our team, I felt like we played an amazing schedule. I felt like from an individual basis, I thought Christian Harvey showed the off-season work that he put in to lead our NCC in scoring at 24 a game. It was big. I thought Trey Griffin stepped up. But we were able to play a lot of players. Keyshawn Clemens was a JV player last year. Marcus Leverett got in there some. It helped us some. Then we had a couple of sophomores, and Philip Hobbs ended up coming along at the end. Of course, I feel like if our program was where it needed to be, we would not have had to rely on the freshmen.
Right.
We wouldn't have to rely on Ricky to produce. I mean, we needed him to produce. He drew, in Jalen Attaway, who's a Division I player, the Sparling kid from Kokomo, 6'5". Grant Smith guarded him the first game we played him. And so he drew some good defensive assignments. I didn't make a big deal out of it to him, but that was respect and that was recognition in terms of who our key players was. Tough season as a freshman, but I thought he did well. Kareem Jett got some playing time as a freshman. He'll be an integral part of our team over the next few years. We got Jake Jones some time here and there. Jake Jones, there were times when we wanted to get him some more playing time. He had some illness come along, sprained his ankle a time or two. I wanted to give him some run after the Weddick, and just some untimely things happened for us. But if you look at our team, I thought offensively we did a decent job executing. I thought the weakness that the character of our team that we were not able to really be good enough at was our defense, our man-to-man defense, and our rebound. I thought we could cover up. I thought we covered up some deficiencies by playing some zone. My style is pressing up and down, trapping, and that style didn't quite fit the personnel that we had this year. This next year, I think we'll be able to do a little bit more of that from a 32-minute perspective. I believe in getting after it from the tip, and we wasn't able to do that as much this year. But we got a lot of work to do defensively. I thought physically our bodies were better. I thought Christian had a good offseason in the weight room. Of course, AJ and Trey and those guys. Keyshawn looks like a ball player now. But I think another good offseason in the weight room. I think if I can get as many of our kids to play summer basketball, AAU, if we're not able to find teams, we have some programs to get them in at Westfield, Fishers. Christian will be fine. I think Ricky will be fine. Kareem will play on some teams. Philip will play baseball, but we can get him in the gym and just put some shots up because he's a tough kid and just a great athlete with good bloodline. I think Philip will come back good next year. But, we had our kids were competitive. I mean, they fought every game. But let's face it, we were just short. I mean, there were some games when you look across, you look at their 5 versus our 5, there was a difference, and we're not there yet, but we're getting closer. We're closing the gap. I think again, another good off season in the weight room, shooting. We got to get back to fundamentals. We got to get back to being consistent with our closeouts, two hand. We got to get high hand. We got to get back to high hands. We got to do a better job of communicating. Lack of communication is selfish, and we were a little selfish in that area because we didn't talk. Most games when our defense was in front of our bench, I enabled them because I helped them get through a lot of stuff, and then when they went to the other end, if you notice, a lot of easy buckets came in the second half. We didn't give up easy buckets in the first half. We give up easy buckets in the second half. Easy buckets killed us. We give up too many layups, and I want our guys to continue to play inspired basketball. I want our kids to be a lot tougher. Physical and mental toughness will be the biggest focus because we wasn't as physical and mental tough as we needed to be.
I want to ask you too, because I've known you for years, and you played on a state championship team, and you've been a part of championship basketball more than once, but your basketball IQ is very, very good. I noticed a couple of times in players this year that their basketball IQ is not probably where it needs to be.
Sure.
How do you get it there? How do you get these players to really understand the game? Because like you said, sometimes you have to help them, but a lot of times they shouldn't need that help just because of thinking basketball.
Yeah, well, we're just going to have to play. In June, we're going to have to maximize the opportunities that are there, and we're going to have to make sure that there's a commitment. It starts with commitment from a standpoint of the off-season conditioning and training program. The kids that want to come here this week and miss next week, that not going to be allowed. And we're in a position now where we had a good freshman class, we had a solid sophomore class. Our junior class, with Christian and Keyshawn getting valuable minutes. We'll hopefully we can get something out of Sid Sanya. He was a JV, a defensive stalwart, the only junior on that team, but he's a great defensive player. Colt Davis has indicated that he plans on returning, and so hopefully we get Colt in the gym this summer. I know football is going to probably be what takes him to the college level, but football coaches like dual sport athletes, and they love football guys, O-line, D-line guys that can get out on the basketball floor and get up and down, show some lateral quickness and competitiveness. And so if we can get him to play some with us this summer, that'll be very, very helpful. I think the foundation is settling in. The last 3 weekends, again, the last couple of years we've had 200 or more kids playing youth basketball.
That's right. Yeah.
The last 3 weekends, we've had 5-6 teams going to Cincinnati, Fort Wayne, Jay County. This weekend, we have 6 teams going up to Greenfield Central.
Good.
And so I want those guys to play. Last night, I had a group of 8th graders in the gym working with them. Ricky came to just hang out, but he ended up lacing them up. Christian Harvey was here for an Honor Society ceremony, and he's seen the 8th graders and do some sneakers on, and so we're building, and it takes time. But if I can get like this 8th grade group to play with our older guys as much, we need to speed this up. But fundamentally, I think one of the things we need to address is we have to really work with our youth coaches. We need to upgrade in some areas. We need, there are folks that have played for Richmond Red Devils, and they've talked about Richmond basketball, whether positive or negative, but it's time for some of these guys to get involved. I mean, when you look at Newcastle, when you look at Connersville, you look at some of our biggest competitors or competition, you look at their youth coaches, their former players, they're teaching the game the right way, they're teaching fundamentals, and so we need some more guys to get involved with at the younger ages. It's you can't just come off the street and say, hey, I want to be on your high school staff.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you need to go to the lower levels and learn how to communicate the game, because a lot of us know the game, but how can you communicate it? How can you teach it? How can you break it down and step by step and put it in the process of how you teach man-to-man defense, to help side defense, to proper rotations, to doubling the post, to help the helper, and it's process to having to teach. And so we're having to teach things at the varsity level that may have been taught maybe at the 5th, 6th grade level. At the middle school level, we really want to look at our middle school program and see what we can do to speed up the development there. Again, you need resources. I mean, it's only so much that I can do, being one person, and then some of our staff. We gotta get out and help these young guys stay in the gym, stay off the streets. And then another piece is we have to have the proper parent involvement. And parent involvement is supporting their kids each and every day, making sure the right positive message is going in about their kid, about their teammates, about their coaches, and then that'll be a big step in the right direction as well. Because I don't know any coach that does this that intentionally wants to lose.
Right.
We have great intentions on want to represent Richmond community and our school system. I take my hats off to our administration, starting with Todd Terrell and the executive order over there, Ray Whoopi, Frank Carr. They've been great for supporting and understanding where we are as a program, being real about where we are, and knowing that we're not there yet, but our kids are off the streets. They're being good citizens in the building. And they're putting up a fight. I mean, when I look back at some of our games from this year, every night we play here at the Tiernan, we give up. It was a good game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a good game. It was an entertaining game. Fortunately, we came up short quite a few times, but our kids fought. They never gave up. We were down 16 in moments, get it down to 4. Most games we lost, it was possession or 2 game. Come free throws, turnovers, this and that and the other. We took some steps, overcoming the situation with our forfeits. That was tough. I think our kids did a good job of, overcoming that hurdle. But then there were some other things that just, it just eats at you and just pounds on you. And we're all human. Nobody's perfect, and you can only handle so much. And I think some of the stuff took a toll on our kids and our staff, and that's part of it. It's 4A basketball at Richmond High School, but I'm here individually, and we have a great staff. We have great kids, but I'm on a mission to prove a lot of people wrong. About where Richmond High School is. When you're losing, you give people the right opportunities to say things, whether they're right or wrong. So we got to get back. We got to get to winning. We have to win, and it's important that we win here. And it's time. It's time. No more excuses. But if you look at Richmond basketball the last 20 years, Richmond basketball isn't the same of Civic Hall days, 92 state championship days, and we have to be, realistic about where we are as a community,
Sure.
As the talent pool that we have, and we have to take what we have and develop them. It's not the same old Richmond. You're not going to get 8,000 people here again. A lot of people have moved out of this community, and it's just not the same. And then with social media and telephones and things like that. I remember when I was a teenager, I wanted to go to the game to hang out with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
But now with Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram and this and that and the other, you can hang out with your friends on your phone. And
Yeah.
so it's a dynamic in society that's changed. But I think if we can continue working and we can put a good product or a good team out there on the floor with be a lot more tougher, a little more grittier, and a little bit more tap you out kind of mentality, if you will. I think we can get some folks back in here. I mean, but we have some loyal season ticket holders who I'm very grateful for. We have some season ticket holders that have been with us the last couple of years through thick and thin, been very supportive, and I thank them. If I can get a second, I thank folks like Tim Miller and Harrington Hope for supporting our program. Roger Riker, Richmond Furniture, he's been good to us on some stuff. You talk about Tyler Ham at Mancino's, giving us discounts on our meals, Subway, taking care of us on our road trips. And I got to give a big shout out to Walmart, for our youth program. Walmart, they donated about, I bought about 30 basketballs. They donated another 30 basketballs.
Wow, good.
We were able to give out 3 or 4 basketballs per team to our youth basketball teams and our coaches. And it's things like that happen behind the scene that you don't know about.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Jeff Williams for running our youth program, taking on that and making sure that ran smoothly. And then of course, I have to give off a lot of our athletic department, Chris Pierce, and of course Frank, and all the other assistant AD and event coordinators that helped put on a good event. And so with the support that we've had over the last couple of months, it just makes you feel proud to be a part of a good operation, and it makes you hungry, and it makes you want to get back to work, and it makes you want to work hard to get this thing figured out, because Richmond basketball has a lot of tradition, and we deserve to we deserve the right to go in that thing in Newcastle, wherever it's going to be, with them going to 3A, to have a legitimate shot at winning that sectional and going on. And eventually, we want to be in the conversation. We want to be get back to being a top 20 program, but it's going to take a lot of hard work. Kids are going to have to speed up their development. They're going to have to commit to the game of basketball. And that's watching college basketball during March Madness, going out to Clear Creek and play, going out to Williamsburg and play with the older guys, the Y, the Lunch Bunch.
Yeah.
You got to play.
Yeah.
And I know as a dad, not as a coach, I know as a dad, I'm gonna make sure Ricky's playing, going to Earlham and play with those guys. Playing with the adults up there at the Y and Williamsburg, and make sure I get him a personal trainer to help him with his body. Yeah, that's what you got to do nowadays. Up in Indianapolis, those kids, their parents, they have personal trainers.
Yeah.
They go to practice and they go see another trainer. They lift, and that's what it takes in 2017. It's not just go to practice, go home, and just work on your game during the basketball season. There's a big commitment and a lot of time you have to put into this stuff.
Yeah, it's a year-round thing for sure. Coach, as always, thank you. Good to see you again, and before you know it, it'll be basketball season. Well, it's always basketball season for you guys, but a lot of work to be put in. We want to thank you for joining us all season long, too, okay? So, again, basketball will be back before you know it. I want to thank head coach Rick Wedlow for joining us all season long. This has been our final edition of Inside Richmond Basketball right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.